Data science. Now, that's a career option almost all are running behind. We all get to hear several taglines like data is the new oil, data science is the future, big data. There are an overwhelming number of jargons: artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, NLP, neural networks, computer vision, virtual assistants. Name a trendy term, and there is a chance it is somewhere in some way linked with data science. Now, to people in the field of data science, a bunch of these terms still do make some sense. However, to the beginners just starting out from scratch, so many terms become so very confusing, and it seems like where should I start from? Where is the end? Would I be able to learn this? What are the prerequisites? Now, the best part about you starting out in data science is that you have an option to not clutter your mind with so many things. Often, starting out from scratch helps you have a more solid grounding and an understanding, a more solid grip on a subject than someone who picks and collects random pieces of information on his way. Unfortunately, however, after connecting with so many individuals who are just starting out, I realized one important thing. Most beginners lack a structured plan on how to proceed. And this confusion is being marketed, used so effectively by a lot of institutes who are like popping up from anywhere and everywhere, assuring you get a job in data science within 2 months, 3 months, 6 months in exchange for a hefty amount. It's so easy to fall prey to such marketing gimmicks. Most of these individuals often complain that they do not, still even after completing a course, after spending a huge amount of money running after certificates, they are not really able to understand where they should finally go. So I decided to come up with this video where I explain what should be your roadmap to become a data science professional in 2020. The best part about this video is it is customized based on one, where you are starting from, what is your educational portfolio. If you're absolutely clueless about what kind of problems and case studies that are solved in this field, check out one of our earlier videos on a complete understanding of data science in less than an hour. This will give you a better understanding of some of the basic and foundational knowledge in this field. I have included a link of the video in the description section below. We also discuss about what should be your roadmap if you have a specific area that you have picked up. It could be NLP, it could be computer vision, it could do with images. If you have selected that area of interest, and if you have decided anything, like for example website interests you more or images interest you more, then you could start off with a different and customized plan for yourself. A third category of people for whom a customized plan would be really helpful is if you are in a hurry or based on how much time you want to give yourself to prepare. If you're looking for a quick get rich kind of a scheme where all you really care about is going and landing up with a job in data science somewhere, then we have a customized plan for you too. Or do you want to take more time and prepare for data science in a more structured way? Now, in this video, I would answer all these questions. So watch till the end. And most importantly, before you forget, I would encourage you to hit on the bell icon and press the subscribe button to always stay updated about any new videos that can help you learn something new in this field. So without any further delay, let's directly jump to the topic. Oh, and most importantly, it would be highly appreciated if you can drop in your thoughts about the video. Did you find it useful? And or if you would want us to cover something that you would really find useful. Now, in data science, as you know, it's a vast field. It has multiple different subfields. Depending on your area of interest, you may choose a subfield like marketing, banking and finance, supply chain, insurance. No matter which domain or industry you might be interested in, data science is spreading like wildfire, be it agriculture, banking, defense, or healthcare. Name an industry and a sector, and it would be challenging for you to find one that has not yet been touched by AI or ML in some form or the other. Now, let's break down in simple words what is exactly what we mean when we say data science. You may think of this field as a superset or like an umbrella of many different fields or many different disciplines. However, the backbone of this field is provided by four major components. The first one being you need to have a solid grip of mathematics, at least at a college or a high school level is really required. A good grasp on statistics. So you could check out the video on the screenshot that's provided here, which also discusses about subtle differences between mathematics and statistics. And this is a common question that most of the beginners in the field have. That what if what is really the difference between mathematics and statistics? If there's mathematics, why do we even need to go for statistics? Are the two not the same? So probably this video can help you answer some questions. And you know you may also watch this video on is statistics enough for being a data scientist that we have uploaded earlier. Now, apart from mathematics and statistics, some background with computer science and programming in a language that is in demand, for example Python, R, SAS, things like that, is really important in this field. Also, apart from these three things, what you need is to have a domain knowledge. Now, depending on whether you are going into retail marketing or banking or finance, you need to know about the unique terminologies or the concepts which are unique to the field. For example, if you're looking at the credit card department in a banking and financial industry, you might have to understand what really the term fraud means, or what does it really mean if somebody is defaulting on a loan. Similarly, you might also understand what exactly is the definition of revenue, what goes into the definition of cost, and what ultimately makes up profit. Wait a minute, did we miss out a critical component? How did we miss out data in data science? Underlying all of these broad parts that we have discussed, all we are trying to master about is data. So, understanding of data is the most important skill that any data science practitioner needs to have. You need to have a solid understanding of databases. It could be SQL databases or no SQL databases. And different query languages is critical to having. You should always have a good amount of knowledge on the different query languages to be able to be a data scientist. You may also watch our video on important concepts in databases, and I'm sure that you will learn something new and interesting out there on databases. I've also provided a link to these videos in the description section below. Now, what it boils down to is that as a data science aspirant, you really need to master all the concepts and technologies related to finding out interesting patterns from the data, also often known as KDD or knowledge discovery from data, or often called as data mining. So there are so many approaches: data mining, pattern recognition, machine learning, and so on. All of these are just tools and techniques and fields which are applied to come up with a meaningful inference out of the data that you have in your hand. Now, what's next? Do you need to master all of these all at once? Definitely no. Then what should be the step by step approach? Well, let's see that. Let's first quickly take a look at some of the most commonly used technologies and understand where they are used. Let's talk reality. You cannot become a data scientist overnight. There are hours and months, it might be even years of preparation that is required to master this art and science. But that's not how complex it really needs to be. There are three broad divisions in terms of the technology stacks that you could choose from. And all of these are useful tools in the entire data science stack. The first one being database technologies. So you could be, very good with database technologies, which means you should have a solid understanding of databases, query languages, and most of these people who are very comfortable with databases and want to make a career in this field, are often termed as data engineers or machine learning engineers, right? So you could work with databases like SQL. You could work with NoSQL databases structures like maybe MongoDB and things like that. The second part, the second broad division in terms of the technology stack is the core machine learning or statistical models or the mathematical formulations, algorithms, and the entire core subject matter that you need to deal with. Often, uh, these people are designated as data analysts, ML scientists, or a data science modeler, an AI practitioner. There are various names that are used in the industry. Don't go by the names, but you know, at least if you are able to identify these broad divisions, that will help you figure out which stack to exactly follow closely. Now, the third stack is where a person needs to deal with front end technologies, mostly web based frameworks. It could be, you should have a solid understanding of JavaScript, maybe. You need to work on Angular JS, Node JS, or React. Or if you're trying to build a mobile application in terms of a front end, you might need to work on Kotlin or Flutter, those kind of things. And even there are many other visualization tools like Tableau and Power BI, which mostly deal with the front end can also be embedded within a web-based framework if you are aware of the coding, how to do it. So often, most of the companies who are hiring people for data science roles really do not have much clarity about what exactly to expect from a data analyst or a data scientist or a data architect and a data engineer. There are a lot of designations in the industry, and it's so very easy to be utterly confused. If you're interested to know more about the differences among these different roles and have an idea about which one you should really go for, follow this channel and we would be coming up with an in-depth understanding of these roles to sort out all confusions and ambiguity. Now, let us look at what should be your preparation plan. So, in the first case, let's say you are a beginner and you have absolutely no clue where to start from, and you even do not know what exactly to target. So, the first thing that you can do is try to master database. In database, you can start off simply with RDBMS structures, which is Relational Database Management Systems. And SQL is one of the most widely and commonly used databases in RDBMS. So a good way to start off with database is to start with SQL, which is a structured query language, which operates on the SQL, on the RDMS kind of a database structure. So you could take probably a month of preparation on databases, and one of the most popular sites is W3 Schools to prepare for SQL. Now, once you are comfortable with SQL, you can now understand some of the NoSQL structures. You could look at probably pick up one of those NoSQL structures. You could start with maybe MongoDB. Now, once you are comfortable with database, then you need to start off with learning basic statistics. So here we have shown what should be ideally the split of time that you might need to give on each of these topics. So your starting point should be learn basic statistics. You need to know about what are what is the meaning of mean, or what is the meaning of median or mode. What is variance, what is standard deviation, what is correlation. So there are a lot of concepts out there you need to be aware of even before moving into the more advanced topics of machine learning or neural networks, artificial intelligence, and deep learning. So, most of the time you ideally need to spend is on learning basic statistics, which should take up almost 50% of your 6-month time period that you can set aside for learning this particular stack. Also, depending on how deep you want to go into this field, you also might need to learn the math behind some of the techniques which are used in these fields. If you find the math too hard to understand, but you still like to be a part of this field, then you should skip some of the math if you are absolutely, not feeling comfortable. You could find a mentor, maybe you could reach out to somebody who can explain you the math. And if really that's not your cup of tea, then I would suggest you stick to basic statistics, machine learning to start off with, skip the maths, and get into a job. And often what happens is, when you get into a job and try to do things on your own, you try to dig deeper, often some of the solutions come up on its own. Also, parallelly, once you start learning basic statistics and machine learning, it's a good practice always to try coding in one particular language that you can pick up. Based on your preference, you could choose R or you could choose Python. Both of these are extremely useful in terms of programming languages that is being applied in the field of data science. Although Python is a more full-fledged, language which can not only do statistical modeling, it has a lot more extensibility. However, when it comes to core statistical packages or core statistical algorithms in depth, then often often R fares better in terms of Python in that case. So you have to pick up one language of your choice, and you could also look at SAS. SAS has been used most traditionally, mostly in the traditional way in most of the companies, especially the banking and financial companies. Even today, they use SAS, for the legacy based system. Now you have to understand the difference between SAS and R or Python. So R and Python are mostly open source languages, whereas SAS is like a legacy. So there's a lot of credibility in the market about using SAS. So the banks and institutions which lay a lot of emphasis and importance on security of data, they still try to stick to these traditional languages like SAS. And often a large part of their operations is done using SAS. So if you are planning to work in that kind of an environment, you should also consider yourself to be familiarized with a language like SAS. Right? Now, often in interviews, what people generally would ask you is not how much coding you know or how much of the technical stuff that you know. So it's always important to understand what models you have built, what are the statistics, different statistical measures or different models that you have built in machine learning, what they really mean, what those results mean. So develop an understanding on those, take some time. And lastly, you should practice, practice, and practice. So that should be almost a 9 to 10 month kind of a structured preparation plan if you're a beginner in this field without any clue. Now, if you have some idea about where you want to start and what you want to specialize in, then the stack almost remains the same. But in this case, now you might not really need to focus on everything. You still need to focus on database. Now depends on, if you want to specialize in database, definitely you should not put 1 month. You should gradually increase the number of months, number of days and hours in preparing database, because there's a huge world out there. If you have to master database, you start off with rdbms and then go to NoSQL databases, then there's big data, Hadoop, Hive, then there's Spark. So a lot of technologies that you need to be aware of, right? And then if you're focusing on the core ML part or the statistical mathematical part, then you should again give a 6-month time to yourself to learn about the different techniques. You could pick up one niche, probably if you are very attracted towards working with images or videos. Then probably computer vision is a field that you are looking forward to. If texts and different emotions of people, like when people interact on social media in terms of sharing different kinds of emotions, or if you're looking at user reviews for a particular uh, e-commerce retailer maybe, and that interests you, then you should heavily bias your preparation towards understanding a lot on text mining, natural language processing, right? So those should be your key areas of focus. And learning the math again is very important. If you were to try to figure out an algorithm of your own, if you were to develop something from scratch, then just learning about the techniques, learning about databases, what the model results really mean is not sufficient. You need to know the math behind it, and this is a more rigorous kind of a preparation with at least a 3-month timeline that you would need to learn the math behind. Now, the third category of people who fall into this category where you just want to get a standard job quickly. So, out of this entire stack, all you need to do is then master database. Give 20% of your preparation time on database. Just learn, SQL, the basics of SQL. Just pick up one particular NoSQL databases if that's you want to really go into the NoSQL databases. So you can pick up one of them, maybe NoSQL. And if you want to familiarize yourself with big data, then maybe you could look at Spark or Hadoop. You could read up some bit about database for big data. However, most of your preparation time should go in learning basic statistics and machine learning. It's not really important at this point of time to go ahead with advanced topics like neural networks, artificial intelligence, natural language processing, deep learning, computer vision, all of them. Virtual assistants, it's not really required if you just want to get a standard and basic job in the market quickly. So basic statistics, machine learning should take up about 50% of your time. Learning the math behind that is something that you could skip for the moment. And trying coding is again a very important thing. If you have to get a job quickly, especially in this market, you would always be evaluated in terms of, even if you know how to do the basic coding, people would not probably, unless you are going for a software development company or a company which is heavily invested in doing rigorous kind of programming and coding exercise, building data science products, or if you are not aiming a very big company, then most of these companies, what they try to evaluate you on is some basic coding assignments. So at least you should have that much experience and familiarity in terms of coding. So 20% of your preparation time should ideally go behind trying to code. And also, most importantly, 10% of your time should go in understanding what the model results really are. So often it is asked in an interview that can you explain some of the technical concepts and technical terms in an easy to follow way. If you were to explain the concepts to a normal person who has no background in computer science or statistics, or who does not know about mathematics, how would you explain some of these terms? So that understanding is really important, and it is this is one differentiator that uh, you know separates some candidates from the others who eventually land up with a job. So the most important thing is you should make a plan, a study goal. This plan should be made by you based on how much time you can devote. There was this article I was reading, the other day, and this came up in one of the Harvard Business Review's publications on whether to be a generalist or a specialist. Now, it's completely your choice. So choose your learning goal wisely. Find a mentor who can guide you, who can train you or coach you step by step to fulfill your aspirations of coming into this field of data science. If you want us to create a customized study plan for you, please drop in a comment in the comment section of this video below. So that's all that we had to discuss for today. Hope you have learned something new. Most importantly, your support and love really matters, and it would help us grow. So please don't forget to leave behind your valuable feedback and let us know if this was really beneficial for you. We would be coming up with more such interesting content to address your questions. So don't forget to hit the bell icon and press the subscribe button to stay updated about any of our such new interesting and information videos that you definitely do not want to miss out. As a side note, if you're looking for private mentorship, career counseling, You want to practice mock interviews for being well prepared to ace data science interviews, or if you're looking for some guidance and training on data science, specifically if you're a beginner. We are currently conducting classes with limited batch size for a foundational course on data and business analytics at a very affordable price. If you're interested to know more details and the syllabus, don't hesitate to drop in your details by filling up the form provided in the description section of this video. And one of our support team members will definitely get in touch with you. So stay tuned till we come up with our next series of interesting videos. And don't worry, that would be soon. Thanks for watching.